On November 4th, 2025, Zoran Mandani officially won the New York City mayoral race. Now, this is very interesting because Zoran Mandani is the first Ugandan Indian to ever be the mayor of New York City. And of course, he has some pretty interesting socialist policies, some that include making prostitution legal, and then also not commenting on Sharia law because he's a Muslim. But that's not the most important thing. When he won, he basically gave a particular message to Donald Trump.
So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
But then he would follow up with this.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Damn, damn, damn!
That last statement is important because he said something that was interesting. New York City will always be a city full of immigrants, developed by immigrants, and now ran by an immigrant. And of course, many people felt like this was going to be great. And of course, many people cheered because this is a direct response to what is going on with the migrant crisis. As you know, New York City and cities like Chicago and Los Angeles, these are sanctuary cities. So migrants have more rights, and it's typically harder to deport migrants back to their homelands from these countries. But that's not really all. Besides the fact that Mamdani wants to allow immigrants to pretty much have more freedom in New York City, he also has a plan to fund it. And the way that he wants to do so is by taxing the rich.
Mamdani very openly talks about the fact that he wants to tax the wealthy to make New York City more affordable for those of lower economic standing. The idea of taxing wealthy people has been really popular kind of worldwide, but particularly in the UK, it's gained some traction. And Mamdani's plans were to tax those who have an income of over $1 million, 2%, which he believes will raise around $4 billion for New York City people, which they can then use on resources to make life a bit more affordable for them. Some of the things that he's proposed is city-run grocery stores to make food cheaper, better run public transport, as well as freezing of rent.
Now, as you can see, Mamdani wants to tax the rich. And of course, like the presenter said, this is something that is popular worldwide. The issue is that if you tax the rich to fund the rest of the struggling class, well, then what will the rich do? They will also leave. Look at my home state of California, which was a great state at one point, but where have many wealthy people left? Well, let's say Texas is where a lot of jobs have went, right next door to Arizona, and then Nevada, which has no state income tax, and of course down to Florida. And even when you look at like high school football, California used to be the go-to state, but now the other states are developing because why? It's too expensive to live there. And this is the reality that's going to happen here in New York City. He's going to tax the wealthy more money to be in the state, and all they're going to do is simply leave. So you won't have that tax base anyway, and those people are going to struggle. But let's talk about the rent freezing because the presenter didn't mention that. What's so important about the rent freezes?
And think about some of these proposals. Let's just talk about rent. Everyone here in New York complains, gosh, it's so expensive, whether you buy or whether you rent. Let's say you freeze rents. Well, if you freeze rents, then apartment owners are not able to effectively raise the rent to cover the cost of maintenance. What if the roof leaks? What if you have a problem with the plumbing? What if it needs, what if there are rats coming in and you need to have the foundation sealed? So what you're going to see is that there will be virtually no reinvestment, no CapEx, no capital expenditures to maintain the quality of property. So on the one hand, you say, oh, isn't it wonderful? My rent's not going up. Maybe even it's going down. Well, actually, no, it's not, because the quality of the building is going to erode over time.
So a rent freeze is basically a strict price ceiling. Now, we already know what happens in places like New York City the rent is too expensive, right? And I get it. But the person said something that was important. Having these rent ceilings means that it costs more to keep these apartments afloat, right? And so you have to have maintenance. Anybody who owns, a house, or you own an Airbnb, you understand that it's maintenance. Any business is maintenance. So if you have a strict price ceiling, in a lot of parts of the city, I understand you're helping the majority of the citizens out. But at the same time, the people that are, in the business of real estate, number one, they have to pay back those mortgages, whatever they are. And then they basically also have to update the venues or the homes. And so it becomes too costly to keep these homes updated. And then what you'll see is these businesses or these homes, wherever the real estate or commercial properties are, will start to falter. They'll say that this person is a slumlord and you're neglecting the property maintenance. But the rent freeze itself is why the property maintenance could be going down bad. All right. Now, while these seem like good solutions short term, in the long term, these are not answers to the New York City's problems. Just like we saw the same thing in California, these things just typically do not work. And I'm not the only person who feels like this.
You think job creators are moving to New York City? Probably not. You think investors are moving to New York City? Probably not. You think families who want safety for their kids and the criminals to be kept into prison are going to be going to New York City? No. You think people that are pro Second Amendment, safety, low taxes are going to be moving to New York City? No.
Now that's Patrick Pet David, who also, weighed in on the issue, talking about, who will be moving to New York City after the election, right? But then listen to this.
No. But who will be moving to New York City? If you're a criminal, it's a great time to move to New York City. Think about it. He wants to let people out of prison. Guess what? I'm not telling you to move there, but it's a great policy. If you're somebody that doesn't want to work at all and you just want entitlement programs, this is a massive opportunity to move to New York City. Massive opportunity to move to New York City. If you're an illegal immigrant, are you kidding me? Like this is heaven for you. He will protect you. Move to New York City. He will protect you. He's for you. So I think New York City is about to have a net migration increase, not decrease. Everyone's thinking they're going to lose people. They're not going to lose people.
Patrick Bet David said, listen, you're going to get a net increase coming into New York City, but it's not going to be the kind of people that you want. You're going to get the criminals, the low-skilled people. You're going to get migrants. But the people who actually create businesses, the intellectual capital, those people are going to leave. We've already seen it in major cities like the UK. Many of the billionaires and rich people in the UK have left. Where have they gone? Better places such as like Dubai, right? So these billionaires don't want to pay these taxes, and so they're just going to be welcomed in other places. Again, this is going to destroy New York City even more, and New York City already has a lot of problems. I mean, you're already spending all of these taxes and money on migrant shelters in Queens and Harlem. Now you're going to run off the people that are creating jobs in New York City, and then you'll be back down bad. But that's just one part of the equation. Let's look at the other part as it relates to Black America. Because Mamdani getting elected doesn't just cause a threat to businesses and successful people. It also creates another type of threat.
Because what we're going to see, if we're going to be honest, immigration is going to be used as a political weapon. He's yelling in his victory speech, immigrants, immigrants, immigrants. So we know where his priority is going to be. And we know that immigration has been weaponized to dilute the political power of foundational Black Americans, especially in cities like New York. That's why he's out there framing that win as an immigrant victory. So we know what's going to be prioritized. All right? We already know. So we got to watch out for ethnic erasure under the guise of diversity. See?
Tariq Nasheed points out that Black Americans or hashtag FBA run the risk of being erased. And I want to talk about how true that is. Let's look at this person by the name of Musab Ali. Okay. Musab Ali is originally from Pakistan. He's running for the mayor of Jersey City, all right? His platform includes using city funds to assist, you guessed it, undocumented or illegal immigrants facing deportation and refusing cooperation with ICE. Okay, so we have another guy who is for immigration, which we already know that hurts the country. But what is he calling himself? Ali has described himself as the Black Zoran Mandani. Now, this is controversial because he is not black, okay? At all. He's Pakistani. So how are you black? So not only are you trying to replace black people with allowing undocumented migrants to stay in the country, you're also claiming the black race yourself when we already know how many people in the Middle East feel about blacks. I mean, Mamdani is from Uganda. He's an Indian Uganda. And I can pretty much tell you, living in Uganda, what the relationship between blacks and Indians are in East Africa. And I can tell you it's not a relationship based on friendship or parity, okay? And so when Pakistanis allow their people to come over, and that's exactly who they're talking about, when blacks encounter these particular people that they are bringing in, the relationship will not be based on parity. And what this is going to do outside of anything, it's pretty much going to give a lot of black Americans, in my honest opinion, leverage, because New York City is going to be destroyed. All right. This guy is going to do a terrible job. Very similar to what you're seeing with Brandon Johnson in Chicago. These extra left-leaning progressive people, all they do is destroy cities. They don't keep investors coming in. They don't keep businesses staying into the city. They want everybody else to fund somebody else's issues, and it's just not sustainable. And so what people are going to do is see how run down Chicago and New York City is, and then they're going to go to favorable places. Like, look at even Mississippi. Mississippi has always been a down bad state in the United States. But what are they trying to do now? They're going to eliminate state tax. Why? Because they're hoping that they can get some of these people from New York and California to come down and help build up Mississippi. And it seems like that's funny right now, but it's really not. You're going to see the states in the South really benefit as you see the black migration leaving California, leaving Chicago, Illinois, and leaving New York, reverting back to the South, because the South is going to start winning again, especially with the black community, because of the affordability. And these guys are actually going to increase the living standards in New York City. And you're going to have a place, a big city like New York, with no real tax base to support the number one city in America. And it's going to become an absolute joke. And when it becomes an absolute joke, I can promise you, you will see more frustration towards Democratic candidates for the rest of eternity. They're going to destroy it all. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.